Bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum. Welcome to Everyday Musicality, the podcast in which we discuss all things related to Gordon's music learning theory and how it can help unlock the inner musician that lives inside of all of us. I'm your host, Heather Shouldice, music educator and faculty member for the Gordon Institute for Music Learning. In this episode, we will continue our musicianship skill building and really get into improvisation. Hello and welcome to the Everyday Musicality podcast. We are continuing today in our mini-series of episodes looking at improvisation. Back in episode 19, I talked about the importance of improvisation and of developing the readiness to improvise. In episode 20, we did some musicianship-building exercises that you can use to develop the readiness to improvise. We learned a tune by rote, we learned the chord roots to the tune, we echoed some tonal patterns and rhythm patterns in the context of the tune, and we also started playing around with creating patterns. In today's episode, we're going to keep building on those musical skills. Before we do, just a quick reminder that this is your last chance to enter the giveaway for the resource Developing Musicianship Through Improvisation from sponsor GIA Publications, so stick around till the end of this episode to find out how. Now, let's get into the musicking. Let's start by reviewing the tune we learned last time, which I think I forgot to mention is called Biddy Biddy. It's a folk song from Jamaica. Sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, ti, do. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Let's sing it together. Here we go. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Before we jump into some new skills, let's go back and do a few more tonal patterns. Be my echo. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Now try singing back a different pattern from mine. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. We also learned the chord roots to the tune. Let's review those chord roots. They went like this. Bum, 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 bum. Give that a try. Bum, 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 bum. Now let's put both the melody and the chord roots together. Go ahead and choose which one you want to sing first. After one repetition on that, you'll switch to the other part. Bum, bum, here we go. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum. Switch parts. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Ya-da-da-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Next, let's add some rhythms to the chord roots. You'll sing the chord roots on bum, but you can make up any rhythms you want. Like this. Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, bum. Give that a try. quick note about the accompaniment you're hearing. I just wanted to mention where that accompaniment came from. This tune is in Book 3 of Jump Right In, the General Music series. And for each volume, you can also purchase a 3-CD set of all the repertoire in that corresponding book. So the accompaniment I was using was from the Book 3 CD set. For those who may not be aware, like I wasn't aware at one point when I was a newer teacher, most general music series recordings are in stereo, where one side is the accompaniment and the other side is the vocals. So you can adjust your right-left speaker balance and turn down the vocal side so that you only hear the accompaniment. Or you could use a program like Audacity or GarageBand to turn down the vocal track and export it to a new MP3 with just the accompaniment. When I was teaching kids, I did that for all the songs that I knew I would use frequently, just so I could have the accompaniment and never have to mess around with adjusting speakers while I was teaching. So again, that accompaniment track for Bitty Bitty was from the Book 3 CD set for Jump Right In, the General Music series, which is available through sponsor GIA. I'll link to that in the show notes. Now let's do some rhythm patterns, but let's move to verbal association and use rhythm syllables. Do, day, do, day, do. Repeat after me. Do, day, do, day, do, ta, day, ta, do, day. Do, ta, day, ta, do, day, do, ta, ta, do. Do, day, do, day, do, day. Do, day, do, day, do. The microbeats were do, day, so we were just chanting in duple meter. What were we chanting in? Duple meter. And how did we know it was duple meter? Because we were audiating do, day as the microbeats. Now let's try a little rhythmic improvisation. I'm going to chant duple meter rhythm patterns with syllables, and your job is to chant back a different pattern in duple meter with syllables. Do, day, do, day, do. Here I go. Do, day, do, day, do, day, do. Do, day, ta, do, ta, ta, do, day, do, ta. Do, ta, day, ta, do, day, do, day, do, day. Do, ta, day, ta, do, day, do, ta, ta, do. Cool. Now, let's up the ante just a little. This time, I would like you to only chant back duple MM patterns. MM stands for macrobeat microbeat pattern. So you're only going to make up rhythms that use do and do day. No divisions, so no tas, and no elongations, just combinations of do and do day. Here we go. Do, day, do, day, do, day, do. Do, day, do, do. Do, day, do, day. Do, day, do. A quick word about what we were just doing. Remember, in the last episode, you created rhythm patterns on ba that were different from mine, and we talked about how that was creating because I didn't give you an explicit external restriction. You were sensing the context of what I was doing and imposing that on yourself. That was creating or creativity. What we were just doing today with rhythm patterns was more improvisation. I did give you an external restriction. First, I specifically said that your pattern should be in duple meter. Then I gave you even more of a restriction by telling you to improvise on only macrobeats and microbeats. So because I gave you an external restriction, that was improvisation. Now, it's not always an either or. I think of creativity and improvisation being more as a continuum. I think of the first improvising you did, where I asked you to make up a pattern in duple meter, as being just a small shift away from creativity and toward improvisation on that continuum, because it wasn't too much of a restriction. But when I restricted the meter and the function, that would be more at the improvisation end of the continuum. Just for fun, let's improvise some duple meter rhythms with syllables again, but let's do it with the accompaniment this time. I'll chant a duple meter rhythm with syllables, and then you answer back with a different one. Do day, do day, do ta day ta do. Do ta ta do day, do ta ta do day. Do ta day, do ta day ta do day. Do day do day do. Fun! Adding that little snazzy accompaniment in always makes it a little more exciting. Now let's do some tonal patterns. Sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, ti, do. When the resting tone is do, that tells us we are audiating in major tonality. What are we audiating? Major tonality, because the resting tone is do. Be my echo. Do, sol, mi. Ti, re, fa, sol. So, mi, do. Mi, so. Ti, so, re. So, mi, do. When we sing patterns in major tonality, we sing different kinds of patterns. One kind of pattern in major tonality is called major tonic. A major tonic pattern is a combination of do, mi, so, and nothing else. What's in a major tonic pattern? Sing it with me. Do, mi, so, and nothing else. Another kind of pattern is major dominant. A major dominant pattern is a combination of so, ti, re, or fa. What's in a major dominant pattern? Sing it with me. So, ti, re, or fa. Let's see if you can tell the difference. I'll sing a pattern and your job is to tell whether it's major tonic, a combination of do, mi, or so, or major dominant, a combination of so, ti, re, or fa. Let's see if you could tell the label. Do, mi, so. Major tonic. So, mi, do. Major tonic again. How about fa, re, ti, so? Major dominant. How about ti, re, ti? Major dominant. So, do. Major tonic. So that is labeling and differentiating between different tonal pattern functions. With students, I would go much more slowly, but that's just to give you a taste of how you could teach tonal pattern function. Now let's try a little improvising with tonal patterns. I'm going to sing a major tonic pattern, and your job is to sing back a different major tonic pattern, a combination of do, mi, or so. So you could do mine backwards. If I sing so, mi, do, you could sing do, mi, so. Or you could start where I end. If I were to sing mi, do, mi, you could sing mi, so. Or you could add something on. If I sing so, do, you could sing so, do, mi. Or you could take something off, or you could be totally different. Let's try it. Sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, ti, do. Mi, do, so. So, mi. Do, mi, do. Now let's try also adding dominant patterns. Remember, major dominant has so, ti, re, or fa. So if I sing a tonic, you sing back a different tonic. If I sing a dominant, you sing back a different dominant. So, mi, do. Ti, re, fa, so. So, ti, so. Fa, so, re. Mi, so, do. So what were we just doing? Do you think that was creativity or improvisation? I think that's the improvisation side of the continuum because I was restricting the function. If I was singing patterns with solfege and had just said, sing something different from me, that would be creativity. If I said, sing something different from me in major tonality, that would be moving away from creativity and just a bit toward improvisation. But giving you a specific function to conform to would be an external restriction, so that would definitely be improvisation. Now, let's try adding some pattern improvisation into the song. Your job will be to improvise a major tonic pattern with 3 pitches. So we're going to go back to Bitty Bitty, but instead of singing phrases 1 and 3, we're going to replace those with a 3-pitch major tonic pattern. Like this. Do, so, mi, ya da 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 dum bum ba dum ba dum. So, do, so, ya da 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 dum bum ba dum. Give that a try. Do, mi, do, ya da 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 dum bum ba dum ba dum. So, do, mi, ya da 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 dum. Try that without me. Ya da 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 dum bum ba dum ba dum. Ya da 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 dum bum ba dum ba dum. Neat. Now let's go back to the chord roots of the song. Remember, the chord roots were bum 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 bum. Let's add solfege to that. It would be do do so do. Try that. Do do so do. And if the resting tone is do, the song is in major tonality. Now, do doesn't always like to go to so. Sometimes do likes to go to ti, like this. Do, do, ti, do. Try that. Do, do, ti, do. I have another part. It goes like this. Mi, mi, fa, mi. Try that. Mi, mi, fa, mi. I have a third part. It goes like this. So, 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 so. Try that. So, 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 so. Now let's see if we can remember them all. First, the first part. Do, do, ti, do, 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 ti, do. Now the second. Mi, mi, fa, mi, 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 fa, mi. Now the third. So, 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 so. Now that we've sung each part separately, let's see what they sound like together. I'll sing all 3, and you can try singing whichever of the 3 parts you want to. I'll go through it for 3 repetitions. Do, do, so, do, 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 ti, do, 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 ti, do, 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 ti, do, 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 ti, do. Cool! Hey, wait a minute. I just noticed something. When one of those parts was singing do, another part was singing mi, and another one was singing so. That made a major tonic chord. Do, mi, so, all happening at the same time. And when one part was singing ti, another was singing fa, and another was singing so. That sounds like so, ti, re, fa, major dominant. So we were just singing the tonic and dominant chords to Bitty Bitty. So the chords go tonic, tonic, dominant, tonic. So next, we're going to improvise with the pitches of that progression. We're going to start by singing pitches only on macro beats that fit with those tonic and dominant chords. I'll model one time, and then you can try it. Do, so, mi, do, re, so, mi, do, so, mi, so, do, ti, re, do. Your turn. Now, it's up to you whether or not you want to use solfege. Maybe you can audiate the pitches and the chords, but having to apply the solfege trips you up. Then take the solfege away. For the next step, let's just try singing on bum. This time, we're going to still choose tonic and dominant pitches again, but on the microbeats this time. I'll model, then you try it. Bum, 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Cool. Now, let's combine macro beats and micro beats. So we're still going to stay on the tonic and dominant chord tones, but now you can improvise any rhythms using macro beats and micro beats. I'll model, then you try it. Bum 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 bum. Now, the really fun part. Now you can use any rhythms you want. It doesn't just have to be macro beats and micro beats, and you can use any pitches you want. So we're just going to make up our own song over the chord progression to Bitty Bitty. I'll model, and then you give it a try. Ba-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, bum, bum. Ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum. Try it. Try another. I'll do one too. And notice, the melody you make up doesn't have to be complicated. It could stay within a limited range. It could use repeated rhythm patterns or similar melodic movement just to kind of keep it simple. Or you could just go crazy and make up whatever you want. Isn't that fun? And the really cool thing is that your students can do this too. If you give them experiences that build musical readiness, learning tunes and bass lines, echoing patterns, creating patterns, incorporating syllables and labels, improvising patterns, all of these skills will enable your students to vocally improvise over a chord progression like we just did. In fact, here's some audio of my former 3rd and 4th grade students improvising over Bitty Bitty.
CJ, go. How about Haley? Go for it, Bethany. hunter. London.
Isn't that cool? This is the kind of thing that stopped me in my tracks and turned me on to music learning theory. When I was an undergraduate student at Michigan State University, I was only majoring in music education as a backup plan at first. What I really wanted to do was play my clarinet, and I was planning on going on to get a master's degree in clarinet performance. But then I had to choose music education electives courses and wound up in Cindy Taggart's elementary general and early childhood music methods courses. And that's where I discovered MLT. When I saw and heard the kinds of things that young children are able to do musically through audiation-based instruction, my mind was blown. That's when I knew I had to learn as much as I could about MLT and decided to switch from a performance career to teaching elementary general music so that I could help more students have these kinds of experiences and build these kinds of musical skills. It's also helped me grow as a musician. I hear so much more now than I ever did back when I was playing my clarinet because my audiation skills are so much stronger. Now, if building these kinds of musicianship skills is exciting to you, but you're not sure how you would go about doing it on your own, I have just the resource to recommend. Developing Musicianship Through Improvisation is a series designed to help build audiation and musicianship through a step-by-step process that leads to improvisation. Each volume includes a book and recordings, either CDs or MP3s, and these include a series of tunes. For example, Book 1 includes the tunes Long, Long Ago, Joshua, Simple Gifts, and Down by the Riverside. For each tune, there's a series of steps to help you build musicianship skills, and there are audio tracks to practice those skills. So you learn the tune, you learn the bass line, you echo tonal patterns and rhythm patterns in the context of the tune, first on neutral syllables, then with solfege. I'll also mention that this was a great resource back when I was first trying to build my own solfege skills as a teacher. I would play the tracks that have neutral syllables, and then for practice, I would try to sing them back with the solfege or rhythm syllables. Then, the book and recordings helps you start to improvise over the chord progression of the tune. So improvising rhythms on the bass line, improvising on chord tones to macro beats, building to improvising on any rhythms you want, and including neighboring tones or passing tones so that you're fluently, melodically improvising over the chord progression of the tune. It is so helpful, and I've also used the tracks in my classes with students as well. In addition to the 4 volumes, Book 1, Book 1B, Book 2, and Book 3, each with a different set of tunes, you can also get each book in a variety of keys. So you can get just the vocal book, or if you're an instrumentalist, you can get a book that is specific to your instrument. For example, if you play trumpet or clarinet, you can get the version for B-flat instruments. Now, if you'd like to win a free copy of the vocal version of this fantastic resource from sponsor GIA Publications, here's what you'll do. In honor of our new podcast sponsor, the Gordon Institute for Music Learning, you're going to go to the GIML website, www.giml.org, and click on Chapters, and identify which is the closest chapter to you. Then, you'll email me at everydaymusicality@gmail.com and tell me the name of that GIML chapter. Remember, you don't have to be a GIML member to win, but if you are a GIML member, don't forget to mention that in your email, and I'll give you a bonus entry. You have until February 16th to enter, and then I'll be announcing the winner in the February 23rd episode, which will also feature a special guest. Dr. Cynthia Crump-Taggart will be coming on the podcast to talk about her experiences with music learning theory and her work with the Gordon Institute for Music Learning. Cindy is one of my very favorite people, so I promise you won't want to miss it. In the meantime, if you have questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes, please get in touch. You can email me or send me a voice memo at everydaymusicality@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and let's keep musicking every day.